Alrighty. Hey everybody, Steve here, and today we are talking about the hobby project. So for those of you who don't know, what I ended up doing is retiring in Korea, and you can see some of that here in the channel, The Varied Life. Along with that, I decided to pick up some hobbies besides going to the gym and hitting coffee shops a lot. So, got to stay in shape, need something to engage the mind. So I got into painting miniatures, which led me into resin printing with the Elegoo Saturn III Ultra, and I end up printing a number of things. There's the, I don't know if you can see, that's the Deadpool guy. He's that's primed in black, but I've also done some other miniature printing and painting. Let's see if we can get focus. So I do a fair amount of painting on these guys, and it ends up, it's challenging, it's fun. And here's another guy I just ended up doing. See if we can get him into, kind of hard to get this going, but so anyway, yeah, I ended up doing painting and doing miniatures and things like that. Works out really good. Gives me, kind of settles my mind, gives me something to do, learn some new stuff, and I'm retired, so what the hell. Anyway, this led into my next thing that I want to end up doing, and that's getting into FDM printing. Resin printing uses a liquid resin that when it's exposed to UV light, it hardens and it goes layer by layer and it builds up until you get the thing that you printed out, and kind of like you get some great detail. Awesome stuff. But with that being said, I was primarily interested in FDM printing, which is filament printing, which is kind of like a long string of plastic. It's like plastic thread, goes through a machine and it heats it up and then gets it to a hot state, so it's malleable, and then you can lay down layers and do a 3D printed product item print thing with that. A lot of great companies out there, Prusa, Bamboo with their X1C and their P1P and P1S, a number of other companies like Creality have all come into the market, and there are some great printers from all kinds of price points, from $100 or so all the way up until you get into what I would say $700-800, 12, 14, 15, and then once you get there, then you're getting into the prosumer area of printers. But the big thing is that printers are getting vastly better than what they were before, and that's because of technology and competition and so on and so forth. And with that, we get a lot of great products. Now, this product that I've been talking about, the FLSUN S1 and T1, the prices have been published. And first thing I want to look at is the website here. So let's go ahead and we'll click on this. Bam! And let me minimize this a little bit so we can see it. So FLSUN is a Delta style printer, which is really, really interesting because now, instead of a bed slinger printer or a Core XY printer, this whole setup is different. And now the speed at which this thing can print now is pretty amazing. Now, of course, every single company is going to print their max speed and their max acceleration. And of course, you're never going to go at that max speed. Consider it like a Lamborghini. The top speed of a Lamborghini is going to be way up here, but if you drove it at that speed, it would crash. And so you would never do anything that would justify going that fast, because safety risks of crashing would ensue. And the same thing happens with 3D printers. And it depends on what you're printing, and usually the faster you go, it has an adverse effect on the quality. So, got to find that balance. But what's interesting is we're seeing companies like FLSUN, what is another one? Prepoli, which has their Magneto X, which I just saw a video on that just a little while ago. And anyway, but this guy's reviewing it, and it hasn't even been released yet, so it's kind of going through some reviews and what to make better or worse or whatever. And that's kind of what FLSUN has done. They're a Delta style printer, and you can see it's got like 3 arms that come down, and then you have the head, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, there's a picture of the head, and it has these 3 arms. So it can move around. It has a round cylindrical base. Some great features on it. Yeah, there's kind of a better picture of that. But it's got its own filament drying box. So that's kind of something that, people have been like, well, you get your filament, it's got to get dried out, you get better results. So this includes its own drying box. It has a volume of 320 by 430, which you can see is a cone with kind of a cylindrical peaking shape cone top thing. Indicator lights, of course, it has the on-off buttons and, connectors on the front. And then put the other stuff in the rear. Imagine that. That's something we've been wanting for quite some time. And this shows the speed development. So they've done these Delta X, or these Delta printers, and as you can see a little bit better down here, which have the arms, and the T1 and the S1 come enclosed because they can do a heated enclosure and do a variety of other materials. So this has really got some really big claims because it claims 1,200 millimeters per second at max speed with 40,000 millimeters per second squared acceleration, which is huge. Now, will you ever be doing this on production? Probably not, because again, the top speed of like a Lamborghini, any type of car, you're really pushing it past or to the limit, and it's going to have an adverse effect on quality. But with that, the interesting thing is it has, of course, the vibration and things like that, cooling fan of 40,000 RPMs, minimum cool down for a single layer is 1 second, closed loop. What else has it got? 80 watt ceramic heating element, ultra lightweight, dual gear direct drive extruder, high flow hot end design, max nozzle temp is 350 degrees Celsius. Has LiDAR, accuracy calibration, first layer detection, flow calibration, auto leveling, which is very important these days. And eventually what all of these companies are shooting for is a plug and play right out the box, boom, you can print. And we're getting seriously close to that. It used to be that 3D printers, you spend more time tweaking and fixing and trying to get it to print than to actually print. And then there's a few companies that have really gotten to a place of where they make it as simple as possible. And now we're getting into speed and quality improvements. And I think that's where FLSUN, if they can live up to the advertised claims, this could be a bamboo killer. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Pushing the speeds, the different variations. Let's take a look at the video here. See if the video pops up. Yeah.
Going from survival mode.
Yeah. Jobber, crying lady, wants job, whatever. Okay. And this is due to come out pretty soon. The fit and finish on the S1 and the T1 are pretty incredible. You can see an exploding view. On-off switch on the front. Smartphone heating. LiDAR detection. Eventually it will have filament. Wire box. Filament detection with the spaghetti tablets. Cooling fans. And all that goes down to the gantry with the grease flow. You'll mention 8 minutes 40 seconds. That's kind of crazy. So, and the same thing, let's go back here to, we see the S1 has a 1200 max millimeter per second speed, 40,000 millimeter squared acceleration, 110 millimeter cubed flow, and the T1, which is the younger, the more price-friendly entry model, I guess you could say, would be the T1, is 1,000 millimeters, 30,000, and then of course 90, which is still really, really respectable, and it doesn't have the filament dryer included on that. But there are some other things I wanted to highlight on here. Let's see if we can. We see on the front here, it's got the power button, 2 USB ports, and of course your display screen, which is, you know, on the front, and then the power cord is on the back. This is something that I think is really good, kind of a rehash of old videos on this that I've done. But how many times have we seen resin printers, FDM printers, where the on-off switch is in the back, where the filament is in the back, and so you have this big printer, and to change the filament, you have to kind of hug it and go around it and reach around and whatever. It's just not user-friendly. And the same thing with the power switch and so on and so forth. Power and their Wi-Fi should be in the back. Screen, display, on-off button, USB port should all be on the front. Because if you have a print farm and you have your machines stacked next to each other, changing out filament is going to be a pain in the ass, trying to turn it around, or you're going to have to pull out and have something to where you can go behind to make it easier to change a filament and so on and so forth, turn them on. I think FLSUN has done a great job of this. And again, you can see the gantries, the arms that come down to the hot end system here. They move independently, and so they're able to go faster because of the reduced weight. Again, we see this tube here. The fan motor is actually up on the top, which pushes 40,000 and shoots that air through that tube. So reducing the amount of weight there will enable this thing to go faster and mitigate over travel. And yeah, it's just a really great system that they have here. Again, we have a circular build plate. It'll be kind of interesting to see, you know, to do the math on what's the build plate for, say, for example, a Bamboo P1S or P1P or the X1C compared to this. With this build plate size, looks like you can do full-size helmets. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be excited about this. So let's go back to Bamboo. Bamboo, the X1 carbon combo, is kind of the machine where it has great usability. You pull it out of the box, you put it together, and you can be printing in no time. It is a great machine along with the P1S and the P1P. This machine here is great, but though I've seen a lot of complaints about the AMS, is really kind of a flawed system. I've seen more complaints against it than people who don't have problems. But then again, that could be that there's a lot of people that don't have problems that just don't say they don't have problems, or, you know, and vice versa. You can have people that are having problems with the AMS that don't voice these concerns on social media. So, you know, you got to take that into consideration. But with this, what you're looking at is approximately $1,449. So what is the machine by itself? The X1C, and just for the X1C itself is about $1,200. So just for that itself, and it's a Core XY, 20,000 millimeters per second squared. What does it end up saying as far as acceleration, spaghetti, active vibration compensation, which the FLSUN also has as well. Flow rate 32 millimeters per second, acceleration 20, 500 velocity. So you can see some big differences between this and the FLSUN. Definitely, you know, the build plate volume is 320 by 320 by 430. And again, it's a circular build area, whereas the Bamboo, what is the build area on the Bamboo? Hot end filament base plates. Build area is 256 cubed. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out with the FLSUN and the T1, the S1 or the T1. But the interesting thing about this is the price is now listed. It used to be listed at $9,999 until they start getting these things out. So when I checked this yesterday, I saw that this was the price, and $1,500 for the speed that you're getting, and if the quality and the speed, and you can get higher speeds, and you can get some really good reproducible prints over time. This could be something that could be a bamboo killer. Now, the other thing about bamboo is that they have, from what I've seen overall, great customer service. They've got great websites, great user interfaces, and so on and so forth. There's always the problems of, hey, I tried contacting them, I put in a ticket, weeks ago and haven't heard back or whatever. There are those things, but overall, I think Bamboo has some good customer service from what I've seen. It is definitely one of the companies that is higher up, that is offering products that work out of the box for the most part, better than most other companies, and the price point is not that bad. Again, what we're looking at for price for just this in itself is basically $1,200. So with the FLSUN, you're getting a larger build plate. It's a couple $100 more, $300 more, yeah. But the speed that you're getting, and depending if it can produce the quality at higher speeds than the X1C, this might be the start of a bamboo killer. I'm not sure. Now, they don't have an AMS, which I think is probably a huge thing for a lot of people, especially people that do print farms or really into multi-material printing and so on and so forth. That's getting to be the thing. But I've seen a lot of people complain about the AMS system with the bamboo, and that has kind of held me back from purchasing the X1C or bamboo products. And I definitely held back when I saw the Magneto from Pre-Poly and the FLSUN when I saw that they were coming out with the S1 and the T1. And now that the price is like $1,500, and you get little clips of what it can do as far as printing benchies, which are very respectable benchies, in less than 9 minutes. That is pretty impressive. And some of the other little test things, they do like 30 to 60 second little videos. If it lives up to the hype, then yeah, this could be a game changer. Now, FLSUN has been on the market for quite some time, and they've had a lot of other products like their Speed Racer series or their V400. But yeah, this looks really interesting. The build volume is definitely bigger, 320 by 430. Again, it's a cylindrical and, full-size helmet. Boom, you could do it. Pretty heavy motor types, 36-volt closed-loop motors, textured PEI print surface. Yeah, just supports a lot of different things. It really looks like a super nice system. Has a camera, high-def camera, support for real-time monitoring, time-lapse photography, which is something that I don't get. I mean, I get it on this and I get it on 3D printers, but what I don't understand are the companies that have cameras that are shitty and don't work, or don't work well over the Wi-Fi. So in other words, if I get on my phone and I'm somewhere and I want to look at a print, that it just, it's worthless. So many people complaining of that. People are even taking their X1C and their P1 and P1S, and they're putting aftermarket cameras that have stable video connection and quality and great quality on their phones on an app with third-party cameras, like baby monitor type things or whatever, with motion sensing and infrared and night vision and the whole 9 yards, using that on their 3D printers rather than the included cameras. So it'll be really interesting to see how well these cameras work and how well they work on apps and phones and things like that. Auto leveling, vibration compensation, all of those things come into here. Flow calibration, spaghetti detection, screen auto sleep, printer auto power off, smart zone heating, power off resume print module. Very important, very important. Air filter has a HEPA filter with activated carbon. Over-the-air upgrade method, slicer, FLSUN slicer, and third-party slicers. Works with Mac, Windows, file formats, and so on and so forth. Yeah, this PLA, PETG, TPU, ABS, ASA, PDE, PET, PA, PC, carbon, and probably some other stuff too. And with the enclosure, supposedly you get some really good prints with this thing. So yeah, that's the FLSUN S1 at basically $1,500. Will that increase in speed be worth the additional $300 versus the X1C? I don't know. I can't wait to see some reviews on this. And that's why I kind of held out on purchasing an FDM printer until this comes out, until we see and get, seeing it on the market for some time. And after, some bumps and upgrades and firmware adjustments and so on and so forth, this is really interesting. So again, the FLSUN S1 is the high end, kind of like the Bamboo with the AMS. Here's the little brother, kind of like the T1 is as what the P1S or the P1P would be to the Bamboo X1C. $600. And you might be thinking, whoa, now this is really interesting. Now there are some differences here. And again, we've got some enclosures. We've got an AI intelligent camera system, which will be interesting for real-time monitoring if they can nail that down. I think it's not a huge thing, but it's definitely a bonus thing that if they can get it to work consistently on an app, way better than Bamboo, that'll be a great selling point. Filament detection, power loss, resume, cooling fan of 30,000, not 40,000 like the S1, all metal frame, high power stepper motors. It really looks like this could be good. And again, the max speed and acceleration is great compared to other systems out there from other companies. Fully enclosed with acrylic material, auto leveling, vibration compensation. Again, we see some of the things there. I wonder if this has a filament on the inside as well. That's really hard to tell. I don't think we can tell on that. I think that's just the system. I don't know. It's hard. Is the filament just on the back? The holder is just on the back and there is no filament. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Ultra lightweight. Okay, so the filament is inside the enclosure, but it's just not a dry box. Still, it's all enclosed. And the previous systems that they had is they had their printer, like the V400 and the Speed Racer systems that they had before, that the filament would go on top, so you had short people had a hard time with it. But now this is included inside. Ah, that looks nice. Still got the HEPA filters, auto leveling, compensation, camera. Same thing as the S1, except it doesn't have the dryer box. For, what was the price? $600? Ooh, this is nice. Now, if you could get this, and then if they came up with an AMS system, or some other company came out with an aftermarket third-party AMS system that would work with this, see where I'm going? This could be an awesome little setup. And that price there isn't too bad. There's a lot of people like, oh, well, of course, everybody wants the best of everything. They want all the bells and whistles for the cheapest price possible, but people have to make money. But this price right here, that is damn low. $600 for what this can do? Wow. I thought it was going to be a lot more. I honestly thought this was going to be a lot more. FDM printer. Printing accuracy is 0.1 millimeter. Recommended layer height is 0.1 to 0.35. Build volume is 260 by 330. So again, it's still bigger than the Bamboo. So yeah, that's kind of good. Product dimensions, still heavy, dual gear direct drive extruder, brass nozzle, max nozzle temp 300, whereas the S1 was 350. 0.4 millimeter nozzle, 1.75 millimeter filaments, high power stepper motors, texture PEI print surface. Again, does PLA, PETG, basically everything except carbon. Max printing speed is 1,000. Max acceleration is, what is it, 3,000, 30,000, 30,000? Wow. Max flow rate is 90. Can be 110 or 220, so that's good since I live in Korea. Rated power 450. 4.3-inch color touchscreen, storage, 8 gig, 16 gig USB flash, monitoring camera, time lapse, detection, vibration, auto leveling. Debris detection, spaghetti detection is still under development. So eventually that will come into play with further upgrades and firmware support. Still, this looks really, really good. That looks really good. And you see some of their other products. Their Speed Racer 369, their V400 849, which I've seen some pretty impressive videos on. And you can see the filament holder on the top, which makes it really, really tall. But even then, their Q5 pre-owned 399. And I've seen some videos online of these systems, and they are really impressive in regards to speed and quality. So yeah, $600 for that one, for the T1, $1,500 for the S1. Of course, it has a filament dryer and of course some additional bells and whistles. But that right there, when you compare the T1, which is $600, to just the X1C by itself, which is basically $1,200, and you get a smaller build plate with this than you do with the T1, and this one is supposedly faster. And even if the quality was the same, I would have to go with the T1, minus if my final decision depended upon whether the AMS was there or not. But if we're just comparing the T1 with the X1C from Bamboo, FLSUN, if the quality on both printers were the exact same, but this could do it a little bit faster, yeah, FLSUN T1, definitely. With that being said, it's good to see these. They got a delay in pre-orders on the latest shipping times. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, whatever. They apologize. It was fastest stable 3D printer under $2,000, and they had orders. Expect arrival at overseas warehouse in May, end of May. So we're coming, we're in February, March, April, whatever the month is today. What is it today anyway? Oh, it's 8 March. So March, April, May. So 2 more months they will start shipping these things out. Expected delivery time is in May, give or take 5 days. So in May and June is basically what we're looking at in regards to this here. Difficult decision, and it's disappointing. But you know what? I actually like this. I like the fact that they didn't drag their feet. They didn't hide it like other companies have done in releasing new products, and then all of a sudden they release the product and there's a ton of problems, and it took a long time to get the firmware upgrades and so on and so forth to get it into a real workable machine. FLSUN ends up saying, hey, this is, we want to make sure that this comes to market in a fairly good condition. They want a good product to get into the hands of the public, and I appreciate them doing this. So, yeah, as they undergo further verification and optimization processes, we assure you that the additional time invested will result in a product that only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations as well. As a token of appreciation of our continued support and patience, this is kind of important, we are pleased to offer an exclusive compensation plan for our early backers, an additional 6-month warranty. We value your loyalty and trust in our vision, and this is our way of expressing our gratitude for your unwavering support. That's thumbs up. That is a huge thumbs up. Wow. I am impressed. I am impressed with FLSUN. So, yeah, I just wanted to put this out there for the hobby project. And now comes the part. You have the $1,500, or you have the, basically, what was it, the $600, the T1. Yeah, $600 for the T1, and the difference is a little bit lower speed, a little bit lower acceleration, no dryer box, but the filament still fits inside. Do you pay $600 or $1,500? Wow, to get one. With the way it is now, I have, and this is all dependent upon whether these come out and they perform as advertised. If they do, I'm really tempted to get the FLSUN S1, and the fact that buy once, cry once. I've been in too many hobbies, firearms and this and that, and where, you get the Barney Basic, the entry level, and then later on you upgrade and you get another one, then you get another one, then you do. In other words, it nickel and dimes you to death, whereas if you had just waited, saved, gave and sold plasma or sold yourself on the street corner for a little bit, you buy once, cry once, and then you get the thing with all the bells and whistles and you have no regrets. That's kind of what I've learned over the time. But the other side of the coin is spend only $600, get everything that's almost as good as the S1, and that is definitely respectable. And if it produces prints on the same quality as the X1C faster, then this is a huge deal compared to just buying the XLC, which was what, $1,200? Yeah, $1,200 versus $600. That's a big savings, and with that additional savings, that could be a lot of filament that you could buy. And the other thing I like about this, and there's things that we haven't seen, like the camera system. How does that work? The real-time monitoring. The time lapse functions on there. The accessibility with your phone and your app. All of these things need to come into play. So I'm really, really looking forward to somebody like Uncle Jesse. There's some other people that, I wanted to take a look in regards to, printers and how they review. Like, what was who's the other guy here? 3D Musketeers. That's a guy, they do a lot. There's also the Nathan Builds Robots, a couple other folks that I watch that do a lot on 3D printing and their reviews, and they're pretty non-biased for the most part. Maybe Uncle Jesse's a little bit, he's more on the Elegoo side than anybody else. But, for the most part, the majority of those people end up making some good review videos, good first look videos. They give good, information and suggestions to the companies that send them their printers. And I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I just thought that would be interesting for those of you who are looking for fast printers. Bed Slingers, Core XY seem to be the bee's knees, and now FLSUN, Pro Poly Magneto is coming in, and they're claiming some pretty big speeds. But I think the FLSUN, with their S1 and their T1, has got pretty much the fastest ones, if I'm not mistaken. So which one am I going to buy? I don't know. With that being said, let's look at the P series, like the P1S. You're still looking at $1,000. Well, that's with the AMS on it. We don't want that. Printers. See what the P1P comes in at. P1P, $600, same as the T1, but with the P1P, 7 to 15 minutes, 2,000 or 20,000 millimeters per second. Build plate is smaller. Can upgrade AMS, no tinkering. Print up to 500 millimeters per second, which most people go around 250. Ludicrous mode, vibration, all of that. First layer, customizable, 256. So again, it used to be, if you're dipping into this, you would get the P1P or the P1S, but you're still limited to your build volume of being 256 cubed, whereas the T1 and the S1 have a larger build plate area. So we get down to the build volume is 260 by 330 on the T1. So you're getting a little bit bigger build area than you would on the P1P or P1S. So camera systems are, I'm just not impressed with those at all. So yeah, and it depends on some other bells and whistles. So like for the T1 and the S1, you know, what are, come on now, leave. There we go. For the T1 and the S1, you know, what is the lighting system going to look like as far as, you know, looking inside the system itself and the enclosed system? Because we've seen the X1C, we've seen the lighting in there, it's really limited. We've seen a lot of people do aftermarket improvements by putting more LED strips to brighten up the inside of the print area inside the X1C. It makes me wonder, what is the lighting going to be like with the FLSUN and the S1 and the T1? Camera resolution, you know, how quality of the Wi-Fi and real-time monitoring. Will it be better, the same, or worse than Bamboo? Those are questions that I definitely want to look into. But yeah, when you compare the prices, definitely, yeah, it's, you know, $600 for the P1P, and that's an older system, versus the T1. Let's see if we can get the, yeah. 3D printers, yeah, buy now. Yeah, $600 for the T1. Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting. So anyway, that's what we got going on. I just thought I would let people know about that because, you know, there's so many numbers going around that I found on the interwebs that just weren't, that led me to believe that this was going to be a really expensive system. But with the FLSUN T1 and the S1 and the prices that we're looking at now, it's not as crazy as I thought they were going to be, especially with that T1 and the increased speeds and so on and so forth. Really looking forward to some reviews for this new system, especially since it's a Delta printer. You can look up videos, and I've been looking up about every 2 or 3 days, at least twice a week, in regards to, you know, what are these printers and how they're doing, any new information that has come out about them. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I'm waiting with bated breath. But with that being said, I'm not going to be one of the first people to buy a brand new printer. I'm going to wait, because so many times in the past, I just don't want the frustration of having to deal with things that need upgraded and changed and this and that, and, you know, recalls or whatever it is. We've seen enough of that. Just call me cautious. And that's why I'm going to wait until, you know, the S1 and the T1 have been out on the market for a while. Get to see some reviews from some great YouTubers, unbiased people, you know, who will review these things and show us what it can and can't do. And of course, everybody's going to advertise their greatest speed, but the workable speed, you know, the normal everyday workable speed, that is what I'm interested in seeing. And along with bells and whistles, you know, because everybody likes bells and whistles. So anyway, I just thought you would be interested in that, especially if you're into the hobby project of resin printing, and maybe this will get you a little bit more interested in FDM printing. I don't know. I am definitely interested in that. And yeah, right now, as far as with the caveat, if the T1 and the S1 produce the same quality print as the Bamboo X1C, yeah, I'd have to go with the T1. And if, you know, the only thing lacking is that they don't have an AMS. So I wonder, is there an aftermarket AMS system? I don't know. That is very interesting. I wonder if we can look that up. Aftermarket AMS FDM printer. Multi-material 3D printers, Bamboo Labs, yeah. Aftermarket filament in AMS. I don't know. Now let's talk about that. I don't know. That would be something to look at. Is an AMS system. AMS copycats have been out for a year plus. But there haven't been many aftermarket systems. 3D print here is something. Upgrade your bamboo with Hydra. No, that's not it. Wonder if this is something that let's take a look at this. Turn your standard FDM printer into multicolor, multi-material marvel with the Prometheus system on Kickstarter September 6th. Now this is back in 2016. Yeah, I haven't even heard of them now, so never mind. Mosaic manufacturing. Interesting. Automated, scalable, additive. Supply chains automated. No, I don't want that. Schedules. Increase your throughput. That looks like 4 printers, 32 materials, automated print, queuing and print plate removal for, okay, that's kind of like some huge stuff. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if there's some companies out there that are making a dedicated AMS system. If you know of one or two or more, put them in the comment section down below. And then tell me what you think of, if you're experiencing FDM at all or not, does the FLSUN T1 and S1 look interesting and intriguing? And what would be some of the, you can go over their webpage and their information. Is it something that you would go after or not? Or, buy once, cry once, or just get the entry-level one? Are you really concerned about an AMS? It'd be nice to have it to say that you have it, but how many of us are really, as DIY hobbyists, going to need an AMS? I don't know. Very interesting. So put that in the comment section down below, and appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel where you put, all of that. You get the little like thing there. Subscribe to the channel, get some more information. Follow us on the Varied Life YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Where we're retired in Korea. I'm doing some hobby stuff with miniatures and resin printing, and eventually into FDM printing, and we'll see how that goes. That's it. Comment. We'll see you. Peace. Yeah, that's a great price.